Bashar Jafari just might be the hardest working diplomat at the United Nations in New York. The Syrian ambassador quoted the UN Charter as he spoke of his people's increasing need for humanitarian help on Thursday. He also quoted humanitarian leaders, such as the head of the International Red Cross, who say outside involvement is preventing help from getting in.
I was surprised to learn that the US president, on behalf of the whole country, recognized the National Coalition as the only legitimate representative of the Syrian people. This runs counter to agreements set forth in the Geneva Communiqué, which suggests launching a pan-Syrian dialogue between representatives designated by the government and the opposition, respectively.
Jafari went on to make note of a number of member states that condemn terrorism except for when it's in the name of overthrowing Syria. Now, the G8 was trying to pass a popular resolution on humanitarian aid, but talk of politics kept creeping in. Palestine's deep need for humanitarian aid was spoken of repeatedly, and many delegates expressed concern at Israel's recklessness, often in the same breath. Australian UN Ambassador Gary Quinlan said that he was alarmed by UN reports that nearly 65% of the people killed in the recent Israeli bombardment of Gaza were civilians.
And that many more civilians were injured. We continue to support the efforts of UN agencies to provide basic services and support for Palestinians in need of humanitarian assistance. We must stress that recent events highlight again the compelling need to find a durable solution to the Israel-Palestinian conflict.
Despite the high civilian death toll and a Human Rights Watch call for an investigation into possible human rights abuses, the UN hasn't taken any action to investigate the 8-day bombardment last month. Palestinian Ambassador Riyad Mansour did business on the phone and at the podium, where he outlined in great detail the suffering of his people at the hands of its occupiers. One such example regards drinking water, something that much of the world takes for granted.
While Israel, the occupying power, continues to deny the Palestinian people sovereignty over their natural resources, it continues to unabatedly exploit these resources. For example, more than 90% of Palestinian water resources are exploited by Israel, most notably for the use by its more than 500,000 illegal settlers. The occupying power has transferred to settlements throughout the Palestinian territory, including East Jerusalem.
On Wednesday, Palestinian Authority officials repeated their intention to go to the International Criminal Court in a legal effort to address Israel's continued illegal settlement building. The PA also condemned Israel's decision to keep millions in much-needed Palestinian tax money collected by Israel, calling it an act of piracy and political blackmail. Hank Flynn, Press TV, New York.